Even when the crowds have gone, a stadium is never empty. The echoes linger, and the memories of unforgettable games and heroes who achieve in a fleeting moment instant immortality.
Okay, defense, let's get in there. Let's hold them this time. Come on.
Who can forget such greats as Jim Thorpe, Bronco Nagurski, Ernie Nevers, Slingin' Sammy Ball, and Bart Starr?
Success in sports, as in life, takes commitment, constant practice. But you know, it also takes something more, something that starts right here. And that's the old-fashioned desire to win. My former football coach, the great Vince Lombardi, put it this way: winning isn't everything, but making the effort to is.
The immortals of the game all got their start on a crowded city street, or a sandlot, or a cow pasture. It all begins here, with the little guys who dream big.
These boys are learning one of life's most valuable lessons, how to win or lose with courage. You know, down through the history of sports, the great ones, regardless of size, color, or nationality, shared one quality that made them outstanding: courage. There's a story I'd like you to see that's one of the greatest examples of courage and determination. This happened quite a while ago, but it's a true story, and it's just as meaningful today as ever. It's a story of America's first great miler, the boy who couldn't walk.
The story began on a gray February morning, a particular morning a long time ago. There were two boys on a little Kansas farm, and work to be done. After chores, they were off to school in a little one-room schoolhouse 2 miles away. Little Glenn Cunningham was 7 years old. His brother was 14. On this particular morning, the schoolhouse was still empty when they arrived. The room was cold, and so was the stove. Why not heat it up? There was a kerosene can in the corner. They knew how to get the stove going. What they didn't know was there were still live coals under the ashes, and that it was gasoline, not kerosene, in the can. Glenn's brother died from the burns. Glenn survived, but he was badly hurt. The doctor said his legs might have to be amputated. At best, he would probably never walk again. Yet 18 years later, this same Glenn Cunningham was racing in the Olympics, considered by many to be the greatest miler in track history. How did it happen? The scars did heal on the outside. And one morning, months after the accident, the doctor said he could get out of bed for a little while. The doctor meant sit up. But though his right leg was crooked and part of his left foot was gone, the boy thought he could get on his feet and walk and run and play. It was the most disappointing moment of his life. No matter what they said, the boy knew he would walk. And his parents worked with him. Massage, massage, more massage, and it hurt. Days, weeks, months. Get the circulation going, build muscle, stretch ravaged tendons. When parents' hands grew weary, the boy would do it himself. And the day came when once more he pulled himself to his feet, and in a way, he walked. He stumbled. He limped. He walked. He ran. He wanted to be like everybody else. Whatever he did, wherever he went, the boy ran and ran and ran. He ran because it would give him back his legs. He ran to get there faster. He ran for the sheer joy of running. By the time he was 13, he could run. And because his eyes were dazzled by a bright golden medal in a store window display, he entered a regular track meet to try to get it. It was the first meet, and he ran a mile, and he won. He never doubted he would, because he noticed that the other kids were wearing shoes with nails in them, and that their feet would stick to the ground while he could run high and fine in his old flat basketball shoes. He kept running. At Elkhart High School, Glenn participated in 2 national scholastic championship meets. He lost the first, but won the second. He ran and he grew. He went on to the University of Kansas, and as a sophomore won both the Big 6 mile and the half mile in one day, and then set a new American record for the National Intercollegiate Championship. The following year, he went to New York for his first experience with the big indoor tracks and defeated the king of the indoor races, Gene Venske, 3 out of 4 times. By 1934, Glenn Cunningham was becoming the master of milers. First, the National Indoor 1,500-meter championship. Second, the new world's indoor record for the mile. Third, the fastest mile in track history. The next year, victory at the Millrose Games, the Drake Relay, and another world's record at the Columbian Mile in New York. Then in 1936, Glenn, for the second time, was selected to run in the Olympic Games. This was to be the climax of his years of struggle, the moment of greatest triumph for the boy who they said never would walk. Glenn's opponent was John Lovelock, the 1 miler he had never beaten. Glenn got off to a slow start, but by the last lap had pulled out in front. Then unexpectedly, 300 yards from the finish line, Lovelock started his final sprint earlier than Cunningham expected. He moved into the lead. Glenn never did catch up. John Lovelock came in first. Glenn Cunningham was second. 2 years after his Olympic defeat, he set a new world's record for the indoor metric mile. And long after John Lovelock had retired and was nearly forgotten, Glenn Cunningham chalked up the greatest winning streak of his career. 21 consecutive victories in the mile. In fact, he ran so well that he broke most of the world's records for running. That was a quarter of a century ago. But the story of Glenn Cunningham will always have a meaning, a simple meaning. Glenn said it this way: the whole business of living is like the mile. If you stay in there, if you have endurance, keep at it. Some way, somehow, you win.
With Glenn, everyone around him told him he was finished. But even as a young boy, he wouldn't accept that verdict, and he went on to greatness.
Okay, defense, I want you to go up on the ball every time. Come on, let's get in there now.
Okay, Jimbo, good job this time there, babe.
Here, it is possible for a boy to ask himself, why not me? If these kids keep at it, they too can be champions someday. It all begins here with the little guys who dream big.